Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? Hi, Keels. Who else is here this morning? It's so funny. Sometimes the comments appear and sometimes they do not. I haven't figured that out yet. So who is ready to art journal? I am so ready to art journal. Hey, Carol. How are you? Okay, everybody make sure you have a good drink. So we stay well hydrated. I have like a lot of things to talk about. So let's I'm gonna just start in. We have classes this weekend. Remember, we have Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles on Saturday, and then Artsy Alchemy on Sunday. And during that class is where I'm going to debut my brand new product line, and you'll learn all kinds of ways to use them, and you'll get 2 of the new product line during class. And so please sign up for that, because you're going to want to learn all the things, because we're going to be using those new products in our future endeavors, our future artsy endeavors. Today, we are going to art journal a background, and then we're going to paint a flower for a little assemblage that we're going to do in the corner. So I'm using the Shari art printable. I've printed this just on copy paper. You know, I like it nice and thin on top of my art journaling pages. In Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles, we are going to be doing, I just love butterflies. I just like, number one, I love the artistic possibilities of butterflies. Like we can, you know, we can do a million things. So here is the butterfly that we're going to be creating in Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles, July 2022. It is a multi-layer butterfly. I've done 1 layer on watercolor and 1 layer on vellum. And then we have a little piece of our verse printed on vellum. That's what I did this time. But remember, I just supply the art, and then you guys do your own thing. I love that. I love when everybody just creates their own jam, you know? Anyway, so this is Saturday, July 22nd. And then on Sunday, we're going to be creating artsy fodder for more assemblages, and that is the this utilizes the brand new product line and so many artsy techniques. I'm telling you, we're going to have ourselves a time. So I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Oh, Carol, I sure hope you find some relief. I sure do. Ugh, I'm so sorry that's all happening to you. So let's get started on our background. And Carol, you can just hop on and do this later if you choose. Good morning, Tam. So, we're going to find a clean page. Here's one. And we're just going to choose a color palette. It can be whatever you want it to be. I think I'm going to glue this page to this page so we have a little bit of, oh, not with that one. Let's see if this one is. Yep. So we just use our glue stick. I just find the glue stick to be the easiest way to get pretty consistent coverage of adhesive, because like a glue is you're going to have lines. And dry adhesive, I just don't think it works the same. Good morning, Pat. So now I'm just going to glue that page down there so we have that little bit of thickness, right? Just give it a good rub. And then we're just going to start our background. And this one's going to take a little while, so I'm giving you a heads up right now. So I think I'm going to do my background on this page. So I'm going to use my ever-present piece of deli paper as my protector. There we go. So you're going to pick a palette. So it could be warm colors or cool colors. It could be monochromatic. It could be whatever you want. I'm thinking this morning, hey Joni Travis, how are you? Hi Jennifer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey Pat, where are you watching from? I think I'm gonna do like blues and purples and I don't know. That's just what I'm kind of feeling this morning. Maybe blues, shades of blue. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our paintbrush and I am going to just start. I mean, and it doesn't matter where you start or with what color, because it's just going to be a series of kind of blobs. So we're just going to, right? So I like to do like a lot of we're just going to fill the whole page with some painty blobs. So it can be, and I'm doing mine horizontal. And it can be really kind of organic and loose. That's the way it's going to work the best, I think. You can go back over and deepen your color if you'd like. Right? So we're just kind of creating, oh, I need to scoot over, don't I? There. Is that better? Let's see. Then we're going to create kind of like, sort of like a puzzle. Look. So now we're going to do a painty blob under here. And we're just going to do this with a variety of colors, you know, but pick a palette. Pick a palette. I think I'm just going to do blues this morning. I'm just kind of feeling that. And you're just going to fill the whole page, right? Just fill the whole page. Nice and easy, nice and slow. So, you guys, I found out about this public art installation in LA that I am dying to go see. So, the name of the project is Portraits of Hope. So be sure to Google that. Portraits of Hope, LA. Oh my gosh, you guys. It is just stunning. It is just stunning. So because I picked blues, Opposite on the color wheel with blue is what? Anybody remember? Orange. And so I'm going to do my flower in orange. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty, isn't it? Isn't it funny how some colors translate so differently, you know? So be sure to make a note of Portraits of Hope. It's a public art installation in LA, and it is one of the main artists is Ed Massey, Massey, and he is the co-founder of Portraits of Hope. And I'm telling you, here's the coolest thing about it. The community is painting it. I love that. I love that. I just like to have a really nice variety of shades of blue, you know? Let's see what this is. I don't know. Ooh, pretty. So just continue to work on filling this page. Just take your time, not in a hurry, right? I'm loving this assignment. I'm loving it. Hey, Carrie, how are you? I haven't talked to you in forever and a day. So funny, I was just thinking about you and your husband. I was driving down the 101 and I saw a raggedy American flag. And that made me remember when we had the flag burning ceremony in your backyard. And I thought, oh, that would be one that they could dispose of. So you see, I'm just filling in these areas with color. So, good morning, Susan. How are you? Where are you watching from this morning? Carrie, where are you watching from? Are you down Tucson way this morning? Good morning. So I'm just going to continue to work on filling my space with color. Let's see. Done lots of darks. Let's come in with some lights. Good morning, Tina. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're just painting this painty background. Filling our page with these kind of organic blobs of color. I'm loving it. Kind of looks like the ocean, doesn't it? I'm loving that. Like a very abstract ocean. Oh, I was gonna say, so as many of you know, I'm a licensed artist for Adorn It, and they are having big sale right now. Hey, Karen. So all of their paintable sheets are $1. So I will post Miranda's my contact person there. She's going to be sending me a image, so I will post that as soon as I get it. So let's dry this. Because you know this is just the first layer. Art journaling is all about layers, 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 right? So it's still a little tiny bit damp, but we're going to set this aside and start painting our flower. So remember, because I chose blue, I'm going to paint my flower orange. So I think I'm going to do this great big one on the Shari art printable. Maybe I'll do this, might be kind of cool. I don't know. And for our sentiment today, I'm going to use this banner and "You Are Magic." That's what I'm feeling this morning. I hope you are too. I think I'm going to do this one. I'm kind of taking it. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush. And then let's come in. I'm going to come in with a nice, like a light yellow first, and then build as we go. So I'm just going to come in and because I'm going to fussy cut this, it's okay if I overshoot the edges, right? And these are nice and bright. This yellow is nice and bright. It did seem like there was something else I wanted to chat with you guys about. Let me think about that for a minute. And let's let this set up and dry just a minute. All my 9,000 little hunks of paper here. With my things to talk about, my little talking points. I just keep going back. You know when you read something and it just kind of sticks with you? Remember Tuesday we talked about art is our most primitive form of self-expression and communication. That has just stuck with me. Everybody take a drink. It has just, this is the Shari art printable Tam. So now I'm going to come in with some orange, but I'm going to come in with that yellow orange first. And get some water in there. And let's come in and deepen like the inside. You see these petals are they kind of fold over on the sides. So we're going to take that deeper shade. Good morning, Renee. And we're going to come in and create some depth, a little bit of depth, a little bit of form by just little by little filling in the center with a deeper shade of yellow. Didn't you see how we're going like slowly going toward orange, right? So I picked a yellow that's kind of a orangey, buttery yellow. Like the first one was quite bright, quite almost like a lemon yellow, right? But that's okay because we're creating all of these layers of color. And those little bits of that color are they're just gonna enhance everything. So little by little, let's just start building these. This is a fun one because you have lots of room for building layers, I think. And it forces you to slow down, which is what I think we all need. To slow down while we're painting. Right? We got about 16 drops of rain this morning. So refreshing. Not. But we are in the middle of the monsoon, so we get lots of thunder and lightning and wind, but not much rain just yet. We're hoping for some. That's for sure. Look at the difference just with the addition of this color. And I haven't even like blended it out or deepened it even more. This is just like my second layer. I love it. Make sure I remember all the petals. Oh, that's so nice, Renee. Thank you. And thank you, Tam. I think there's just something about it, isn't it? I like to watch cake decorating videos, cookie decorating videos. I like to watch other people paint. There's just something about it, isn't there? Hey, Tim, are you still going to be here August 1st? Around there? Because if you noticed, oh, thanks, Renee. That makes me feel so good. It's just copy paper, Laura. I just like a thin paper. I just like a thin paper. I know. Nance, I know. It's just like we need so much rain. The drought is real. All this crazy weather. I was talking to Jeff's cousin Catherine, who lives in England, and his cousin Jane, by the way. Well, I guess she's my cousin too, by marriage. I mean, that just kind of happens, doesn't it, when you get married? Your family just grows. Anyway, I was talking to them in England, and you know, hardly anyone has air conditioning in England. And they are having record-breaking temperature, like 104. I can't imagine. It must just be miserable. Miserable. I just, you know, the other day, remember I painted the poinsettia with, and we did some color mixing on the substrate, and we also did, I showed you how to add like another color, and then we splattered with those colors. I'm kind of digging that technique, so let's do that again. It really gave me the total vibe that I was kind of feeling in my head. It's lovely when that happens, isn't it? When your idea in your head is translated onto your substrate. Because we've all had those times where the opposite has happened, right? Where the idea did not, like my hand sometimes just doesn't do what the idea in my mind's eye does. That's for sure. Just a few more petals. Okay, so now I think I want to come down here. And I think I'm going to wet all my oranges. Oh, Tam, it's hot up there too. Oh, golly. It's just miserable, isn't it? Ugh. Miserable. So now I've done that second coat of yellow. I'm going to come back in with an orange. And I think I want to do a little bit of like a true orange. Let's see. but I'm doing it right here. At the base of these petals. Ta-da! This is really growing it, I think. I just really want this to be the juxtaposition of this piece of artwork with the background. I want them to be a really nice contrast with one another. There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. What colors, what are your colors that you've chosen this morning? I'm dying to know. Like, what color palette did you all choose? Da-da-da-da. Okay. Getting there. Oh, Renee, I bet that made it really, really humid. Ooh, pretty keels. Purple and yellow. Pretty. I know, I love the beach too, Nance. I do, I do. It just kind of seemed, forgot where I was going with that thought. It'll come back around. Oh, Renee, I hate car troubles, don't you? Yuck. Car troubles and computer troubles. Okay. So this one, there's probably no way we're going to finish this one, but I'm going to go back to the background so that I can share with you like my thoughts on where I wanted to go for the next step. So I'm going to set this aside to dry, and I'll come back and finish that in a bit. Okay, now with this, I'm going to come in with my micron. Ugh, I hate both of them. I hate both of them. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my micron, right? And I'm going to just start to kind of outline these shapes. And every now and again, I'm going to have these little spaces right here, right? And I'm going to fill that in with lines. take your time. Take your time. Right, so here, let's go up. Here. Fill in right there with the lines. And I'm making my lines pretty close together. And by doing this, it's going to look like a, oh, I gotta put my hair up. Holy smokes, you guys. I washed my hair this morning and I thought I could wear it down, but ay, ay, ay. But I always have my ponytail on my arm for just such an occasion of sweating. And I told myself I was going to try to not have my fan on this morning. I know that's a little bit distracting. Anyway, we're just going to continue. And just by doing this, we're going to change the whole vibe of this background. Right? Oh, here's a big one. Oh, I'm loving it. And if you wanted to, you could certainly come in with a white pen and fiddle with that a little bit. And if one bled into another, that's okay, right? And I try to stay pretty close to the organic shape of the, you know, of the blobs of color. So I'm going to continue this one right over here. Oh, I'm loving that. And I like my lines to be really quite loose and organic. And remember to do that, we're going to hold our pen up high. If you hold your pen up high, you're going to have less control. The higher up you hold your pen, and then you're going to get way more organic bits and pieces. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Oh my goodness, I've been thinking about you. And our friend Heather. That one's still not real for me, Trace. But I'm happy to see you here. All right. Continuing, continuing, continuing. And you can kind of make your own shapes if you want. Yeah, so Tam I would love to. So I know Kylie's going to be here with the kids, but yeah, I would love to see you. That's for sure. Almost done. So here's the thing. You could do your black lines any old place that you want, really. I just like how it kind of links things together, you know? So if you have some, like, oh my gosh, look at this big, beautiful open area. Like next time, I would leave more white space because I'll be doing this again. Remember, we've talked about if you find a new technique, do it again and again and again. By doing it over and over, you will start to stop. Look at that. You will make it your own because you'll start to put your own little bits of you onto it, you know? Like maybe you make it with way more white space, which is right where I'm totally kind of feeling this morning. But I'm also thinking, what would happen if I just add a little bit right there and do more stripes on that? Right? And then look at how my flowers are going to pop on that blue. I can hardly wait. But I'm having lots of fun putting it all together, that's for sure. And I love the juxtaposition of my grid paper behind, my horizontal blobs, and then my vertical line work. I love that. I love how that's all just kind of working together to create one big yummy piece of artwork in my art journal. Here. 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 Oh. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm just loving this. I'm going to get back to painting my flowers now. So, if you are wanting to take your art journals to the next level, please sign up for Artsy Alchemy 3. We're going to be we're starting a whole series of workshops where we will be creating elements to take our art journals to the next level, right? I know, Nancy, don't you love that? You do start when you slow yourself down enough, you start to see it. You start to see the beauty, right? I love that. I love that. So anyway, remember that we are going to be creating, in this class, we're going to be creating mushrooms. Stop it. With that new product line. And I'm just going to show you so many things to create with that new product. So many different ways to use it. And remember, you get 2 of the new products in class, plus the mushroom art printable, and 2 hours worth of me showing you every little artsy thing I could think of to do with them. So remember, that is open for registration on Corbiere-Scott under featured classes. So Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles is Saturday, and Artsy Alchemy is Sunday. And then the new product line will debut on Monday. So you're going to get a jump start in Artsy Alchemy, and you're going to get all the different ways of using it included in class. Little by little, build up that orange. Hey Deborah, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I sent you an invite. I sent you an invite, Tam. So check your email. There is a group. There is. You remember we've talked about, if you don't have watercolor paper, or if you don't have, if you have Crayola watercolors, or a kid set, whatever, the more you use those, the more you get to know them, right? So painting on copy paper, you don't have the same movement. I know, Keels, I so wish we were spending the weekend together. So I guess that's the next best thing, right? So the more you get to know, the more you use your products, the more you get to know them. My watercolor palette is a whole bunch of Prima Marketing watercolor confections, and I found that I was only using, I have like almost all of them, but I found myself only using some of them. And so my brilliant friend Tessa said, what if we got a bit, well, we had been talking at the art store about like finding a big palette, and we could not, oh my gosh, all of the palettes were like for tube paints. Well, my brilliant friend Tessa found this one on Amazon, and there's a link for it. So if you go on my website, under Anne's Artsy Arsenal, there's my Amazon shopping list, and you'll find this palette. And so we took all of the paints that I had purchased already, and I put them in my, well, Tessa created an amazing color chart, and so now I use all of the colors. So it's a whole bunch, like probably 10 different palettes that I've bought over the years, but now they're all in one big palette, and you know what? I use them so much more. And that was my goal, was I had all of this paint that I wasn't using as much as I should. Everybody take a drink. So if you go to my Amazon, my Anne's Artsy Arsenal, you'll find the link for the palette. Then once you join Let's Get Artsy with Anne Corbiere-Scott, that Facebook group, in the file section is the palette, is the swatch chart that Tessa made. So I use kind of a little bit of everything, Debbie. I have really expensive schmanky watercolors, and I have all the way to Crayola washable watercolors. I use everything, but for the most part I do use the Prima watercolor I think they're called confection tins, and they are they come in a tin. This is my Josie Lewis tin, but just, it's like this, right? So I have scads and scads and scads of them, and then I took them all out and I put them in this great big. So I will say that Prima makes a pretty decent artist quality watercolor, and quite affordable. Each tin is about between $20 and $30 approximately. You can find them more inexpensively on Amazon. If you can only get one or two, I would get classics and tropicals. Those are the colors that I use like the most. I use those colors all the time. But if you are willing to try something new, I like Daniel Smith extra fine watercolors in the tube. But here's the thing, just buy one. Just go to the art store and buy one color, and just get to know it. Just get to know it. And by getting to know it, I mean paint and paint and paint and paint. Paint it in all different things with it. Paint flowers with it. Paint some backgrounds with it. Paint some paint through some stencils. Paint. Do you know what I mean? Put it through its paces, so you get to know it. The more that you, and I told you, you can do the same experiment with Crayola washable watercolors. Put it through its paces. Get to know it. And you get to know it by painting on copy paper, painting on cardstock, painting on watercolor paper, painting in your art journal. All of those things, I just don't want anybody to ever feel like they have to have a certain medium to, or a certain brand of something to make good art. You can make good art, I promise you, with anything, as long as you get to know it. You'll find out what works for you. And I've been known to mix them and match them. Do you know what I mean? I will use these for a while, and then I'll come in with my Cairn markers and add a little something with that. or I will come in with my colored pencils, or I will come in with those Crayolas, because these have a shine that's kind of cool. So sometimes I like to add a little bit of that to whatever I've painted. Anyway, just get to know your art. Whatever your art supplies are, just get to know your art supplies. No judgment here, ever, ever, ever. I just want people to make art. That's my goal in life, is for people to make art. Okay, so I've kind of done that. Now I'm kind of feeling like, remember we did that 5 minutes. Yikes. I think I want to do that splatter. So I have the orange. I'm kind of digging that. That looks quite artsy, doesn't it? Love it. Let's do that yellow that we had. That bright, that kind of that orangey, creamy, buttery yellow. Oh, I'm loving that too. So just like I was saying, the other day we did the poinsettia with this technique. Do this technique again. Try it again. See where you go with it. Do you know what I mean? Try, remember we did it with this on Tuesday with the Card Candy 1 art printable, the poinsettia from there. Just keep playing with it. It'll come to you. Let's do white on this one too, I think. So I'm going to take here is something that I do advise investing in. Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. That is also in my Artsy Arsenal store with a link to my Amazon. Bleed Proof White it's watercolor, but it doesn't the color underneath won't show through. It's one of the most amazing products. I just love it. I'm going to dry this really quick so I can share with you how I use it. Okay, so I'm going to open this. I'm going to take my paintbrush, make sure there's no color on there. And I'm just going to pull a little bit of that white. Can you see that? And I'm just going to put it on my palette. Then I'm going to add some water. Then I'll just mix it with my paintbrush. I'm just going to splatter. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. So pretty. So pretty. So once this is dry, I will fussy cut this and I will adhere it to my art journal page. Remember this one that we just created, right? Put that aside. Right, I'm going to adhere it over here, and then I'm going to take the sentiment from the Shari art printable. There's a banner in that art printable, and "You Are Magic," and I think that will be perfect on top of the flower. So I'm going to do here, and then I'm going to do "You Are Magic," and then just let this just be its own beautiful self. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. I can hardly wait to assemble it all. I just kind of need to wait for things to dry a little bit. So, don't forget, this weekend is all about art, 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 art. We have Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles July 2022 on Saturday. Registration is still open for that. And then Artsy Arsenal 3, which is our taking your art journals to the next level, on Sunday. All of my classes are $20. And then the new product line that we're going to be using in class on Sunday will debut to the public on Monday. So you'll get a jump start on that. You'll get a little, you'll get it before anybody else, and you get 2 pieces of it in the class this Sunday. So I can hardly wait. Don't forget to check out PBS for the Arts, Off the Walls, Los Angeles. And remember, that is by Portraits of Hope. The organization is called Portraits of Hope. When you see it, you're going to think, oh, what can I paint? I love that the community got involved. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Is there anything else? Oh, and don't forget to watch for news about Adorn It's paintable sheets for $1. I don't know exactly how long that sale is going on for, but I'll try and find as many details as possible. I will be on the Adorn It Stitch It Facebook page today at noon Mountain Standard Time. I think that we are 1 hour behind them, if I'm correct. I will put a post about that too, where I'm going to be stitching my state flowers. I'm trying to hurry up and finish Washington State so I can start a new flower, but I'm currently on Washington State right now. I adore you all. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can hardly wait to see what you create. Oh, also, do not forget to make some Christmas cards with any of my art printables. Use your creativity. Push your envelope a little bit, your creative envelope. Stretch your creative muscle and come up with some Christmas cards using any of my art printables. Post them in the private group, Let's Get Arts with Ann Corbiere-Scott, and I will put them in an album on the Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs Facebook page, and you're going to invite your friends to like and comment on your creations. And then the ones with the most likes and comments will receive a gift certificate. The top 3 will receive a gift certificate from Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs, and every single person who enters will get some happy mail from me. Because isn't that what we should all be about? I adore you all. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Talk to you soon.